single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Vibrations. I'm Raven Geary. Today on our program, one of the hottest properties making the talk show circuit, Shahrazad Ali, an established...
Hey, before I start this video, have you seen this before?
I believe so.
Okay.
writer indeed, Ms.
I
Ali.
read a book in AIT.
You said you read her book in AIT?
Mm-hmm.
That's dope, brother. That's dope. Yeah, I got to get the book soon, but this interview is really interesting. I just wanted to know your opinion. We can just go out a little bit of it.
Ali is best known as the author of The Blackman's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, a very controversial and, if I may say so, a very critical view of life of today's black woman. She joins us today in our studio, and of course we'd like to welcome you today to Vibrations.
Well, thank you, Raven, for inviting me.
Basically, it's your premise that the black woman is out of sync with the natural order of things. Can you explain that?
Well, it's a very sensitive subject, and certainly I believe that I have tried to approach it from a very sensitive angle. What I have actually said is that the black woman's disrespect and rebellion against the leadership and the authority of the black man is a direct cause of the breakdown in the black family structure. It's not an attack on us as black women. It's just saying that in the breakdown of any relationship, both parties have to take responsibility. And as black women, we have been protected and insulated from any kind of examination about what our share of the responsibility is in the breakdown of the black family. My book represents the first platform, certainly, that the black man has ever had to air his grievances about the black woman, because no one would ever listen to him. They have only listened to us.
Can you tell us a little bit about the book itself? What brought you to this point of having to sit down and use your pen to write?
They still ain't listening to us. I like just how they got like a feminist movement. I guess we gotta have like a masculine movement for like people to actually want to hear what the man has to say about things. But female will disagree with that tremendously. I think they feel like we got the ultimate like word on things, but I don't know. I feel like the feminist voice is the loudest in the room right now.
It is. And you know what's ill about this is this was back in 1991, bro. This was almost 30 years ago, 29 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This was almost 30 years ago, bro. My mind is blown off of that simple fact.
Hey, you gotta think about it. When have we ever had an opportunity or a platform to complain? Like, we're not allowed to complain about what women do. Like, this is not. If me and you went somewhere to air our grievances, like she said, people look at us like we crazy.
I want to do some more research into the waves of feminism, because throughout certain time periods of history, it shows how the dynamic of the family structure has been messed up, and when it started to get this bad. I believe around this time, they were already in their third wave. What we're going through modern day 2020 is the fourth wave of feminism, and it's extreme. But this is interesting because you'll see throughout this interview, they're talking about stuff that seems so relevant to today, and this was 30 years ago.
Write this book?
Well, actually, it was my first book. In 1985, I authored How Not to Eat Pork or Life Without the Pig. And at that time, I was going around doing what I was calling Get Off That Hog lectures. And during my travels, I noted that I would take the microscope and show people how you can't kill the trichina worm in pork by cooking it. Heat was not destroying the worm, and I would show them, the difference, and demonstrate how FDA was now using radiation to try to kill the worms in pork because cooking was not working, which is what we had always been told. And during that time, a lot of black men were in agreement to get off eating pork. They wanted to change their eating habits, and they were happy to find out some information that might possibly save their lives. But it was black women who were the most adamant, who refused to change meal planning techniques, seasoning food, cooking techniques. And so I said, it's interesting. I said, if we are refusing to provide the black man with the proper physical food, when we know that food is what sustains life, then what else are we withholding from him? Possibly there are some other areas, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, that we are affecting his behavior by what we do or what we withhold and refuse to give. And that led me to try to find out. We've always heard that the black man leaves the black family, abandons his woman and children, won't take care of the children, won't work, stays out all night, turns into a drunk, takes drugs. We've heard a lot of negative things. Most of them are true. But I wanted to find out what happens before he gets to that point. What leads up to the breakdown? We've never gone back to try to find out what happens in the relationship between the black man and a black woman that makes him go off and do all of these bad things. To assume that this is just normal, natural behavior for black men would be to assume that he is naturally bad. And I do not believe that the man that God gave to us as a mate is a naturally bad person. And so I wanted to try to examine what goes on with him. What's his side of the story?
Did a black man ask you to write this book?
Oh, no, certainly not. I think they were just as surprised as black women. Many of them approached the title of the book with a little apprehension because they have not had a champion. We have never had a black woman who actually stood up and said, I'm standing up for the black man's side of the story. We know what our side is, and both sides are true. We have done some very dreadful things to each other. And I don't exonerate black men, which is kind of a misconception that people have. I just say that we know his side. What about our side? And we do have a side. We have adopted some wrong standards. We are judging our men many times by the wrong value system. We are using his children sometimes against him. We have been told that the only benefit that a black man provides in a home is money, and if he does not give us money to take care of those kinds of financial provisions, that he has no value. And what my research has proven to me is that a black man, any man in any home, provides much more than financial support. The man provides guidance, instruction, discipline for the children, which we sorely need in our black homes. He provides gratification, fulfillment, protection. I mean, there's so many other values, and these values are the ones that are missing in our children today, which is why many black children are in the street, out of control themselves, disrespectful, don't have any regard for anyone, and most of us are scared of them, and everybody else is, because nobody has a way into them to try to gain any control over them. So I maintain that a return to traditional family values, certain clearly defined gender responsibilities for black men and black women in running a home and a relationship will help us to produce a better child. And if we produce a better child, certainly we'll have a better future and a better nation.
And saying all of this, and as calling yourself a champion and having, if I may say, the courage to write this book and stand by it, you've caused a stir. This book is very controversial. What are you hearing from public reaction?
Well, I don't think that it's an issue among black women about whether or not the book is true or not. The issue is that I was not supposed to tell. These are inside secrets and things that we have never let our men know about. And many times we say? He can't handle me. Well, many times he can't handle us because he doesn't know what it is he's trying to handle. He doesn't understand what motivates us. We have become very adept, many of us, at being able to do something right in front of his eyes and then convince him that that's not what he really saw at all and that it didn't happen. So we've kept him kind of confused.
Excuse me. Do you realize that there are many bookstores, and in particular black bookstores, that have refused to carry the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman?
I think that that's been overblown. Right now, the book is carried in over 5,000 bookstores here in this country and about 2,000 abroad. The book is becoming a bestseller in London, and to date we only know of 2 bookstores in the entire country who refuse to carry the book.
May I tell you that there is at least one in Tallahassee?
There may be, but they're lost if they're doing that.
The response we got from that book owner was that your book had nothing, absolutely nothing constructive.
Was that a woman who gave you those comments?
Yes, it was.
Oh, how surprising. Okay.
Let's talk about some of the things that seem to be upsetting people, or that people are talking
there
about.
certainly have been a lot of things taken out of context. Anyone who
It's definitely, I felt was super harsh on women. So a woman who wasn't prepared for this message or didn't understand her angle or strategy, like it was a lot of shock value in there. And I believe the shock value was to make it a controversial, but if you can get past the shock value and get to the deeper message, a lot of it makes sense. But the way she talked in that book was very harsh. Like even when I was reading it at first, I was just like, damn, why is she going so hard on women? Like I understand she's trying to deliver a message, but she going in on women.
Oh, it was like that?
Oh, she was, oh bro. It was a massacre. Like she was tearing women apart in the best way. Like it wasn't disrespectful, but it was just a very aggressive text. I'm pretty sure you can find some expert excerpts online. You can kind of look through a chapter. But she was going in for sure. Like it was basically it was a daddy moment from a woman. Like she was being daddy to all of the women and like really like holding them to a high standard of accountability on the shit that was happening in the household. It was tough. It was a tough read. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I could see why some women would like trip off of it, but if you can really get the deeper meaning behind everything, there's a lot of facts in there, though. Hardcore facts. Like literally, she described every relationship I ever had. Like all the scenarios she had, I experienced every one verbatim.
Sheesh. Yeah, I'm gonna eventually find, but I wish I could get a little quick example or something, cause the way you was talking about she was going in, I want to see.
She was going in. She was definitely going in. There might be something on YouTube.
Get a little something on YouTube. All right.
Yeah, she was definitely waking people up. As in what's happening.
The Black Man's Guide.
Yeah. I'm gonna listen.
Oh man, I can't wait to see the tone or hear the tone of this. Man, where my damn pencil at? Oh, here we go.
Guide to Understanding the Black Woman by Shahrazad Ali. Preface. The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman is the culmination of many years of study, observation, and production. Their discourse remains detached and superficial, with crucial issues delicately avoided by unspoken agreement on both sides. Part of this is because the black woman does not know that she has an adjustment problem. She certainly does not believe that her disrespect for the black man is destructive, nor that her opposition to him has deteriorated the black nation. The other part is that the black man has received no confirmation that what he suspects is actually happening. The black woman's misdirected intentions rob her of the security and the satisfaction she longs for, and she continues to lack the solution to repairing her damaged self-esteem by herself. Her confusion about her role and purpose and the interference of Western society have produced her inappropriate behavior. Her main fault is that she wants to have her own way. It is not an unfair generalization to charge the black woman with being out of control due to her rebellion against the authority of the black man. If the black man intends to be successful in mating with the black woman, he must be aware of every aspect of her nature. While this book is not an intentional negative portrayal of the black woman, I will stay singularly focused on her problems, and I will tell the truth about her condition. Inside information which has never appeared in print will be revealed with clarity and speed, and I explain why the black woman persists in the face of repetitive error to hold steadfast to the principles that cause her to fail in her attempts to unite with the black man. I am breaking a tradition of secrecy and cover-ups. This book will be met with opposition and anger by the majority of black women. They will charge me with betrayal. Some will argue that my examples are inaccurate or that my samples are based solely on stereotypes and extrapolation. Others will claim it a rude, unwarned, little, if anything, about. While this guide provides some he has endured rejection and has suffered and continues to suffer in all aspects of his life, generated by the problems he has with his woman. He has endured rejection and failure in his personal life almost as calmly as success and triumph. Naturally, during these computerized, fast-paced times, it is not fashionable for the black woman to be in submission to the black man. In retaliation, the black man has withdrew his support in all areas. He tries to work his life around the scorn. Still, this report does not absolve or vindicate the black man from his negligence in allowing the black woman to become distasteful. He cannot continue to shirk his portion of the responsibility for her outrageous and embarrassing conduct, and he is the only one qualified and justified to put the black woman back in order. He must not strive for perfection in the black woman. This is the wrong generation for that. Instead, he must strive for effort and improvement and be insistent on progress. When she learns better, she must do better. Some of the remedies in this book will seem harsh and unorthodox, but pain is unavoidable preceding the birth of a new idea that will born a new black woman to live in peace with the black man. The infected brain may take several generations before the defects subside, but the work must begin now, today. The black man will never be able to excel until he gets his woman under control. Currently, he spars with the white man to preserve his freedom while scuffling with the black woman to defend his wounded manhood. He has become adept in both roles. His work to bring the black woman into submission must begin accordingly. It is likened to stepping into the ring with a wild savage boar, a reckless, fire-breathing dragon that must be tamed if the black family is to survive. It is the black man's responsibility to win this battle. And lastly, I have taken this unprecedented step because of my love for my people and my dedication to putting the original black man on top. The black man must civilize the black woman before he can have peace with her and before he can stand up and reclaim his nation. From the author, Shahrazad Ali. Chapter 1, Her Childhood. From the very first moment she's born, she becomes attached to her first teacher, her mother. Her eyes study her mother constantly during the initial bonding process. She learns to smile and form other mutual communication techniques. She, as with any other cub, is taught survival skills: how to eat, dress, bathe, use the toilet, general manners and obedience, most implied by a look or spoken in a certain tone of voice. She is able to understand the language long before she can speak it. She never stops studying her mother, and she never stops learning from her. If she is raised by two parents, she studies them both. Since she is with the mother or other females, she learns to tune in to them emotionally. She learns to observe the other adults in the same way. She can detect when they are happy, at peace, or sadly restrained or mad. She also pays attention to how her mother treats her father. She learns glances, body language, and moods, the spoken and unspoken messages that her mother displays. As the cub, she mimics and includes these practices, right or wrong, as part of her survival skills from the very start. She overhears conversations that her mother has with her friends or relatives pertaining to the father. If all of the mother's comments are supportive and positive, good. But since the habit of gaming on the black man is a 400-year-old tradition here, the inflections are for the most part negative. She listens and she records. The first mental tapes translate into pictures and forms, and they cannot be erased, at least not for many years. What she overhears as a small child may go something like this: "I don't care what your father said. I said, I've got to cook and clean up this house before your father gets home because I don't want to hear his mouth. Your father don't run this house, I do. He don't know what he's talking about. He don't know what I know. He don't know what he's doing. John makes me sick. I get tired of picking up behind him." If the father requests something, she may hear the mother say, "Get it yourself." Or, "You don't tell me what to do. I do what I want to do." Every mother is guilty of using these or similar terminology about her husband when she is tired, exasperated, or angry during the girl child's upbringing. The training message from the mother, the teacher, is 1. The black man don't know. 2. Certain references to the black man are made only behind his back. 3. A woman has the option to choose what she wants to obey. 4. A man is a bother. After hearing various negative inferences behind the father's back, then the girl child observes how the mother may front off when the father is present, pretending that she is obedient and everything is fine. The girl child, while too young to actually distinguish between truth and falsehood, watches how trusting and unaware the father is. Soon, she concludes that the mother is right. He don't know, which must mean that he is dumb. And if he is dumb and doesn't know what's going on behind his back, it makes the girl child insecure. He's physically strong, but we live two lives, one in front of daddy and one behind his back. Since the mother is her mentor and they are alike, she agrees. You can't trust him. He is different from us. And the cycle starts.